Yo. Excuse me.
No, thank you. Sorry.
Wait. Do you have an internship for this summer?
Which one? This summer or next summer?
Both.
I do. Yeah.
Which one are you working at this summer?
I'm gonna be at TPG. In
Doing
private equity.
private equity. What are you doing next summer?
I'm gonna be at Barclays doing sales and trading.
Damn, you stacked. What the heck?
Thank you.
I go around interviewing students all across different campuses about their internship advice for other students, and I'm wondering if you have like a minute or two to talk about your internship experience since you are the opposite of being cooked in the market right now. So if you're down, I'd love to have you.
Okay.
I can walk with you and go to class.
Yeah, I have a couple minutes.
You done? Okay, I'll walk with you. So a lot of people say the market is really cooked. But what do you think is the one thing that students actually underestimate though about breaking into finance?
I think it's important to say yes to every opportunity. You really want to build your resume from the beginning. I feel like I've interned in every area in finance. I've done commercial banking, wealth management, public finance. I'm at a hedge fund right now. I'm doing private equity next summer, sales and trading the next summer. So I feel like that experience, I've gotten to know the clients that I'll have for sales and trading. And when I was recruiting, that was something that really made me stand out.
And speaking of standing out, what is the most underrated cheat code that you have for networking, especially as a student?
So I think for networking, it's really important to get out of your comfort zone. For example, when I was in New York networking with firms, I was at Starbucks and I asked the guy in front of me who was wearing a suit what he did for a living. I never do that. That is totally out of my comfort zone. He ended up being an investment banker at Barclays and he introduced me to the sales and trading recruiter and everything went from there.
A lot of people in college especially emphasize the idea of coffee chats and how important they are. What is the best question that you've asked in a coffee chat and why?
Is what their favorite podcast is at the end, because it really shows that I'm trying to pay attention to what's going on in the market, trying to learn more, and then I can follow up with them about, hey, I read this thing, I listened to this podcast, thought it was really great, would love to talk more.
What do you think is the biggest mistake you see with students when actually breaking into finance?
Especially when networking, they'll try to be like one fits all. They'll use the same email when cold emailing, and they won't reach out to enough people. And it takes just a little bit extra effort to put in your own personal touch to emails, and that's what will get you a higher response rate. And
a lot of the questions that people have been asked in interviews are about the market itself. So what is your biggest tip to actually stay updated about the market and just learn about what's actually going on?
So my biggest tip would be to read the news every day and start early. You can't cram the news because it's constantly happening and you constantly need to stay up to date on it. So I started reading the news, listening to podcasts months before my interview.
You mentioned you go to a non-target school for sales and trading. So what do you think was the key for you to actually stand out and connect with people that weren't even alumni from your school?
So a lot of what was helpful for me was networking with people on the West Coast who had connections to the East Coast. So I went to a couple networking events and I heard of people who had been in New York, had their careers in New York, but came back to the West Coast to start a family or just establish their careers, but they still had those connections in New York. So if you're a woman in finance, I can't recommend Girls Who Invest more. It's a program where you spend 4 weeks at Wharton and then they'll place you at a buy-side firm. It starts you early before finance recruitment, so you'll be able to get a job and they'll help you with everything you need to know.